Coming up, Going Green with OBS.
The Ubuntu 16.10 reaches end of life.
Firefox is falling, and it can't get up.
And Flash just doesn't die.
No, it doesn't. All right, let's go. And welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays. That's right, time to sit back, relax, and listen to me and this fine young cannibal chat about
insanity.
Yeah, insanity and some of the interesting stories that we found this week. I'm Vince Stone, and that fine young cannibal is one Pedro Mateus. What's going on, man? What's up?
How you doing? Yeah, still in the UK, still actively looking for a job. If anyone out there watches the show and happens to be hiring or knows someone who is, let me know. My email is Pedro, Pedro, at linuxgamecast.com. It's easy enough. Just let me know.
It's kind of brilliant, man. I heard you found a pub with some Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's actually about a mile up the road. We didn't even know it was there. It's like, oh, it's a pub. Haymakers. Really nice place. Just spent a couple hours there yesterday, and the internet's really nice, too. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not 3G, LTE, whatever. So, yeah, it's nice.
Oh, why don't you just save a bunch of money and buy a couple of boxes of Ethernet cable?
Yeah, plug it all the way from here to there.
just run it out, man. Drag it out. All right. Yep. So what's been going on in the world of Linux this week, man?
In the world of Linux, it turns out that flat packs are still very much a thing. And if if you've been paying attention, Jono Bacon actively recommended them for the universal whatever. What? How did he say it? It was like the unification, the standardization of the Linux desktop, and he recommended Flatpaks as the distribution method, package manager, whatever. And now there's a hub from OMG Ubuntu. They created the article says that there is now a hub for Flatpaks, and that's good. The PPA is available for Ubuntu. It's Alex Larson's PPA. You set it up, then you just do flatpak remote-add, and everything else. The commands are there. It's easy enough, and there are already a couple of applications available for you to install. At least now there's a central-ish hub for flatpaks to be gathered up and sent down to people, which, if we're being serious about that, the whole redundant universal package management thing kind of needs to be something like this.
We need a little bit of something, a little bit of a taste. I agree completely that, the snap flat images, that's what I call them because everyone's at war right now.
Yeah.
they're all the craze, but tell you what, man, they got a long way to go before, really at least on my Ubuntu LTS production box, a long way to go before they're going to replace PPAs. I mean,
yeah,
mainly because you're spoiled for choice with PPAs. If you want it, it's out there. Dependency resolution, you don't have to worry about it. Personally, I do believe that flat has the best chance of becoming the universal standard, but it'll never happen. It's never going to happen. I've been messing with Linux for over 2 decades. The greatest idea is like, why don't we do this thing? They're like, politics or something. Let's start screeching and all be divided.
Because raisins, yes.
Right. And, then we have the Ubuntu. Ubuntu's like, listen, all right, we kind of messed up with Mir doing that. Then the Unity. Yeah, people were just using it. We're done doing that. Oh, by the way, here's Snap.
Yeah, here's Snap packages. This one's for real, you guys.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Something we're going to be talking about Saturday is the Steam client is now available. Mm-hmm. It's Flatpak.
Yes. And SteamOS now supports Flatpaks as well.
That's going to be the thing. I mean, it's going to be some interesting years ahead to see who.
It's like as much as the Linux community as a whole, at least on the developer side, seems to hate unification. Mm-hmm. The Steam runtime and Steam as a little bit of software that runs in every single Linux distribution That is the single point of unification, and that single point of unification just said, we support Flatpaks.
Yep.
That should tell you something.
We'll see. But something maybe not good, maybe actually it's always good progress. 1610.
Of course.
Ubuntu is to dead, and by to dead I mean it has reached EOL, or as you might know it, end of life. That's right. Amen. Because, the 9-month support cycles is one of the reasons I personally run an LTS. What does this mean? Is everything on fire? No, but you should update because you're not going to be getting your security updates anymore. Where can you go? Where can you run? Well, if you don't want to hop distros and you want to do an upgrade, you can go to 1704, which I do need to remind you is also a non-LTS. So you'll be stuck in the same situation a couple of more months down the road. But July 20th, so it's already passed. If you haven't done the upgrade, do it.
Yeah, 1704 has been out for a while, and if you're one of those people that for some reason likes to keep on the 6-month...
Cross your fingers and hope it boots straight.
Yeah, basically pray that upgrade path is still working as reliably as Strider would like us to convince that it is.
But listen,
honestly,
man,
I've never been able
fairness,
to.
Because I have to go on both sides. Okay, doing incremental upgrades. Let's say going from that to 1704 like that. Rarely you're going to run into problems. And admittedly, when I go from an LTS upgrade to an LTS upgrade, I clear a day.
Mm-hmm.
I fully expect I'm going to be fighting with if I had a good, nice long rant about going to the 1604 LTS.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, keep your systems up to date. I mean, you definitely want to keep them up to date because of the next door.
Security. Yeah. Security, which is something that GNOME has had issues with in the past, but someone managed to find a very contrived way to get past all that GNOME security effort. Yep. So it's called Bad Taste. It's CVE 2017-11-42-1. And there's proof of concept code, and you can test it for yourself. It's really easy. Basically, it's an MSI file. An MSI, for those of you that don't know, it's a Microsoft installer file. That's like a setup file for Windows.
Okay, I thought it was a motherboard and or video card.
No. Okay. And just there's an extension for Nautilus, which is now called GNOME Files. I learned that today. Which is called the GNOME exe thumbnailer. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to see the MSI, the exe, the DLL, the LNKs, what have yous, with the same icon that they would have on Windows. That's a functionality. If you use Wine a lot, kind of expect that functionality because it looks neat. And, well, there was an issue with that because in parsing that MSI file with VB code, that's Visual Basic code, in the name of the file, basically the thumbnailer, instead of just picking the .ico file from inside the MSI, it ran it with Wine. That's bad. But admittedly, it's contrived.
No, Pedro. That's called integration, and that's why I'm terrified of anything that tries to do something that I don't tell it explicitly to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just, it's another Linux vulnerability caused by Windows. And if you want to be, this has been fixed. The newer version of GNOME exe thumbnailer, version 0.9.5, if I'm not mistaken, has fixed this. But if you want to be turbo safe and you don't care about exe thumbnails, just get rid of the GNOME exe thumbnailer altogether.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. I was reading through the article. It was a Softpedia thing. Well, this will be in our show notes. Don't worry about it. And the quote is, for successful exploitation of the vulnerability, an attacker can send a crafted Windows installer file with a malicious VB script code. And the only thing I thought is, isn't all VB script malicious? Just by principle alone, that's definitely a thing. But yeah, nothing I'm worried about. I use Thunar for the file manager, and I don't have Wine currently installed in the box because, I like to play my games native. So, we're going to make some people angry with our next story.
Oh, yes. But then again, I'm assuming Andreas Gall already made many people angry because you can actually scroll all the way down the article itself.
They're going to be angry because this is the former CTO of Mozilla, dude.
Yep. If the article ends about a third of the way down of the scroll bar, everything else is just comments. Yep. So you know what you're going in for at that point. But yeah, it's Andreas Gall. He wrote a post, and Firefox market share has been dipping consistently for a long, long time. There's the first graph that he shows there. It shows it hovering until around, let's see, January 2017. That's the first big dip happened around August 2016, and then it came back up. And then when 2017 started, it came down. It came down considerably. It was already in the negatives. If you look at the y-axis, that's minus percentage already. So it came down even more. So he explains how he got the data using the IEDs and ADIs and what have yous.
It was kind of interesting, and one of the points, well, until I did this thing didn't require registration and login to pull the data. He had to write his own script in order to continue doing that. I was like, that's definitely a thing. But the reasoning was, a lot of commenters. Why Firefox market share is falling off a cliff? I think that question can be best answered with a few screenshots. And so we're seeing going to Google Mail, and it says, get Google Chrome. Going to YouTube, it says, watch now. YouTube videos with Chrome, and to use Calendar offline, upgrade to Chrome.
It's very aggressive marketing. You got to give it to Google.
Here's the thing, though, man. I gave it the Pepsi challenge today. Google's never told me to switch the browsers. Here's what went down. It wanted me to make google.com my homepage.
It keeps telling you that if you're using Firefox, make this page your homepage.
And on, Gmail, and I tried the YouTube, it said, hey, would you like to make Google your search engine? But it never outright told, but hey, man, both of those are alphabet properties. They can do whatever the gosh darn heck they want. And listen, man, you know what? I'm a huge fan of all the work that's done by the Mozilla Foundation. But personally, man, I quit using Firefox as my daily driver quite some time ago. Yeah. And here's the thing, Brad. I mean, Firefox didn't lose because of Google. No. Nay, I say. They lost because Firefox. Ooh, can you hear those pitchforks getting sharpened? I can. Seriously, man, what went down? Firefox had become such a bloated pile of nope that a new browser, out of nowhere, with no plugin support, none, was able to drink its milkshake. That's what happened. That's the true story. It's not what's going on today. It's what went on like 6 or 7 years ago, man.
Around 2009, 2010, that's when it started to happen.
Do you know how hard it is to get a Windows user to use IE? To get off IE to go to another browser? Okay, multiply that times incomprehensible to get them to go from the other browser to another browser, and that's what they did.
Yeah. And let's be honest, Firefox was never really the mainstream, because the mainstream was still using Internet Explorer. That's what they were using. That's what most people used. It wasn't until Chrome came along, and this comes down to Google being, yes, they are very aggressive in their marketing, but they are very good at said aggressive marketing. And they managed to get people to stop using IE and use Chrome. Now, to be fair, yes, there were a lot of geeks and their families, inevitably, because they went, oh, no, stop using IE, just use Firefox instead. I did that. A lot of people did that. But that's because Firefox was the darling of the geeks at the time. And the moment Chrome came along, oh, it's so much lighter. Oh, but it doesn't support extensions. All right, I'll stick with Firefox for a bit. Oh, Chrome now supports extensions. Now, to be fair, nowadays, I use Firefox mostly on my laptop. It's perfectly usable if you force enable multi-process so that you can use it with plugins, because it's still disabled if you have plugins installed. Mozilla, please, come on.
No, I mean, it's a thing. You use whatever you want. I mean, I do not participate in this tribe mentality, knuckle dragging Neanderthal. You need to pick my camp or this other camp so we can argue. Let's die in a fire. Seriously, I don't care about that. You use what you want. I have Firefox open right now. I have Chromium open right now. I have Chrome open right now. I have Chrome Beta open right now. I also have Vivaldi open right now.
Well, I don't even have Chrome open right now. I just have Firefox and LibreOffice with the show notes.
Yeah, I have LibreOffice open as well with the show notes. You use what you want. This is just telling a tale on what is and what is not. But then there are people who will argue with the actual graph and numbers in Firefox. But that's good. Competition is good.
Yes. So, now Mozilla needs to find a way to recoup some of those geeks that it lost to Chrome.
And I don't think you can argue, Chrome coming out caused Firefox to get better.
Yes, it did.
So
very much so.
I don't think
especially in RAM. Chrome will numb all the RAM nowadays. Firefox, very, very light on the RAM usage.
Yeah. Whatever works for you. I mean, long as it runs and you like it, that's great. So, but, here's something Mozilla, the foundation, Mozilla Corporation, booga booga, is doing that is kind of neat. Yeah, they want to hear your voice, man, because Mozilla's crowdsourcing 10,000 hours of audio so anyone and everyone can use it to train and build their own voice apps. They want to take the voice sampling and where you can sit back and identify it and open that up for smaller indie developers and kind of get it out of the hands of the big major companies, Apple and Google and stuff like that. And the beautiful thing about this is, my voice is my password or whatever, however that went, I forget. This does not require you to submit any personally identifiable data at all. If this is still open, and if I get some time this afternoon, I will kind of go through it and submit my voice. I think that's kind of the least I can do. I personally don't have a problem with that outside of voice commands. I don't like using voice commands all that. Okay. Okay, Google. That's usually my voice command.
That's the one, yeah.
But, I mean, 99, okay. That's a lie. If you want some funny reading, because you can go back and look at your voice commands on the web, it's me screaming at Google, going, come on.
That's not what I said.
What the expletive deleted? Really? Question, and stuff like that. But it's okay, Google, set a timer for. That is 90% of my use case. Outside of that, it's like, what's the weather like? Because I'm an old man and I want to know, I don't want to get too hot while I'm out there yelling at clouds.
But yeah, it's honestly just the idea behind all of this, just getting people to give their voice to help companies that are not Google, that are not Microsoft, that are not, the big ones, from having a voice recognition system that's properly trained, that can recognize several different voices and can recognize variations in said voices. That's really important, and there isn't an open source for that at this point. And Mozilla is trying to do that with Common Voice. And
opening
just
it up,
that idea.
It samples a repository. Because could you imagine trying to teach voice recognition for Scottish?
Crossed a few. I think there's a Scottish family that lives down the street. If you're paying attention, you can easily understand them. It's just that if you just catch it, it's like, what was that?
I only say that because I love and kid. I had a nanny growing up that was Scottish, and some people know exactly what I'm talking about, completely indecipherable. I can understand that business, but then you have the multiple language. I didn't see. Is this for the English only? Or?
Yes. As far as I could tell from the Common Voice page, it seems to be in English for now. But there will be probably in the future, there will be more options. Now, you don't have, you can actually help if you don't have a microphone or you don't want to use your microphone. You can actually help validate the donations of other people. There'll be a list. Can't remember exactly how to get to it. There's a list of already submitted stuff that you get to listen to and see what people were saying. And you can validate that as, yes, that's what they're saying. Or if there was a funny man or two or three that were just cussing out loud instead of reading the actual sentence, you can do that.
Well, I was about to say, I was just going to stand in here and cut the gain up on the mic in the middle of the room and just start screaming, "Can you hear me now?" Because, inside I'm a 12-year-old. Let's just face facts. Okay. Yeah. We've been talking about Ring since before the show existed, and guess what? Yeah. Point release 1.0. That means it's just like regular Ring, but now with more stable ? Yes.
Supposedly? I mean, the only question I have is, does it still do that completely unmutable voice loop with echo cancellation that left you constantly listening to what you were saying, what you yourself were saying all the time? That was annoying. That was really annoying.
I don't know, man. I mean, but what is it? You can make audio, video, calls like that. It's got some good, if you've never heard about it. I mean, this stuff's straight up legit encrypted HD. It communicates over ISIP, TLS. It's got screen sharing, Ethereum blockchain for decentralized public user database. I was like, that's overkill, and I love overkill. So GPL3, it supports basically everything. And you can use parts of Ring for IoT type stuff. Yeah.
Individually licensed all the different parts, so you can take them and use them separately instead of using the whole damn thing. It's good. That's good. But again, I am going to ask, have you fixed the echo cancellation issue? Or at least let people disable echo cancellation? That would be nice.
We might play around with it because we have tried basically everything but Skype.
Several times.
Right. And we keep coming back to it, and everyone's like, but have you tried X? And it's like, yes. So,
well, which time? This year or last year?
Right. Might give it another go. It might be something to look at, but that is a thing. Yeah. It's out, and I hope it keeps improving, man. I mean, we need some. What we have to do is start getting grandma on these services because, unfortunately, that is why Skype's a thing, because grandma's on it, or grandpa, however you want to do that business. And yeah, and we're using old Skype, which was not developed by Microsoft. Now we like using it. Hey, it's supposed to be dead now. It still works. Don't tell anyone.
Supposedly they killed the servers on July 1st. Hello.
All right.
Okay, so something that does not, in fact, need to get better. In fact, it needs to die. It needs to die in a fire, in oblivion. It's Adobe Flash. Yes, yesterday. Adobe announced that Flash would die officially on 2020. At some point in 2020, probably by the end of 2020, Adobe Flash will cease to be a thing. I believe it when I see it, if we're being honest. Mm-hmm. There was a post from from TechCrunch. There was also a post from Chromium.org. You know, the people developing the open source bits behind the Chrome browser. And they say, oh, there's been an 80% decline in Flash usage. Yes. Why do you still support Flash in Chromium again? Why? Stop it.
It's Stop reasons. It. I mean, you know, Cody in Shout Realm is like, yeah, it's pretty dead now. It's pretty dead, but Pedro has a point. Why is it still there in any capacity? You know, they have changed it to, it's like, man, this stuff's jank. You need to give us explicit permit. That doesn't slow down stupid. Stupid can blow right past that security check. Like, click, okay, done. You know, I'm kind of looking at it like this. So we're looking at 2020. So basically, at the end of the day, what we're looking at is 3 more years until they kill something that should have died 5 years ago. I mean, dead. Wicked dead. You know, And you know what? You know, it's like 2020. Yeah, right. Adobe will stop updating and distributing Flash. People still going to use it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Someone's going to come up with some weird hack around Chrome or Firefox or whatever browser.
They already have on Android, Flashfox.
Yeah, Flashfox. There was Dolphin, the Dolphin browser. There are a few. And Chrome, the desktop version of Chrome still comes with Pepper Flash. Just let it die.
Whatever happened to, what was it, Nash?
Yeah, Nash, the GNU implementation of...
I never got to try that because I went to compile it one time and I looked it through the dependent and I was like, nope.
I think I got it working once, but whenever I tried to play the YouTube video, it should tell you just how long ago that was. Whenever I tried to play a YouTube video with Nash, it would just crash. It would crash the entire browser, not just the plugin. So, yeah.
Well, I'm seeing mentions in chat that homestarrunner.com... okay. Here's my thing. Do you want to help web zones get off Flash? Quit visiting them. Send them an email and say, hey, man, I wouldn't know because I do most of my browsing with Chromium. And Chromium, like Machete don't text, Chromium don't Flash.
Yeah, I went out of my way to disable Pepper Flash in Chrome because I don't want it.
And I do it on mobile too, which doesn't have any Chromium. Yeah. But I think the important thing to say is I don't notice the issue because what they've said in this article and Google with Chromeblock said HTML5 can basically do everything Flash could do 20 years ago.
Yep.
So, you know, that's a thing. I don't think anyone's like, but no. Oh, what about Crunchyroll?
Yeah, the Crunchyroll was the last one I remember that still used Flash. Although I haven't been to Crunchyroll in years, so...
Yeah, I don't know if they do or not.
Our Weeaboo watchers, listeners, would care to chime in on that, let us know. Are they still using...
But I think you can add Crunchyroll to like Amazon Prime or on Steam had some Crunchyroll stuff, didn't it?
Oh yeah, Steam has some Crunchyroll stuff. They actually made an agreement with Crunchyroll so you can watch anime on Steam, so you don't even need Flash for that.
Oh, all right. Yeah, Mir seems to say they use Flash. Okay, use Flash. So my apologies, but I made something that was borderline educational, which goes against everything we stand for. What did I do? 5 minutes in and out, set up and use one of these, which is poorly. I kind of do this to irritate people now that I've realized it's like, you got shadows on it in your light. I only have one light on right now. To use a green screen with OBS in Linux, because that is what happened when I was looking up an instruction guide on how to do this. And the only one I could find was poorly recorded Ramble Fest. He was like, let me tell you about my dog. No, no, I'm here to learn about OBS. This is something I need like 3 clicks, and I'm fast forwarding trying to sort through the video. The one I made, you can 5 minutes in and out. You're done. You get the idea. I give you the tools. Go forth, make awesome stuff, fly through space with your cats. It will be amazing, and everyone will be happier for it. So that's the thing. If you'd like to support more instructional educational videos, Pedro, how can they do that? Yes, you can do that a multitude of different ways. If you are looking at that article, keep on going to the support page on linuxgamecast.com, and you'll see that there's a Patreon campaign. There are some Amazon affiliate links, the ones that don't cost you anything, and we get a little teeny tiny bit off the top. There's an Amazon wish list, which if you do buy us something from there, you end up on the food wall. Fine upstanding cannibals, man. We want to thank Mr. Red picked us up this recently. This is a DisplayPort 1.2B to HDMI. It's still in box because we have not one but 2 people threatening to provide us with a Blackmagic capture card. And I'm still kind of waiting on the popcorn on the other end of that situation from the 2 separate people. So we'll see, or, eventually, much later down the road. That's kind of like a closing out, honing everything on the wish list. purchase, our main purchase, our biggest focus right now is to get the AMD 1700 Mobo. Hopefully, we're going to have the Wet Stinky Cache put together for that. Probably the next 2 or 3 weeks. Keeping our finger organs crossed on that. If you want to enable the cheat mode, hook us up. You end up on all incarnations of our FUC wall, even when we moved to Kansas and we put it up. But we do want to thank the patrons who this is a show for you. You make this show possible. It's brilliant. Thank you so much. And it's not just a one-way thing. We give you a lot of stuff back. Head over to patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. Get some of those show notes. Get access to our Discord channel where we hang out the other 6 days a week. Get access to an extra hour of content only for you with a customized RSS feed. Our pre super chosen. But those PayPal, and thanks everyone shopping through the affiliate links. Those add up. We got somebody on PayPal, man. Kicked us a little jingle, right?
Oh, yes. Mr. Joseph Corson, thank you very much. Actually use the PayPal Donato buttons. That's what they're there for. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
It's pretty awesome. Okay. Hey, every week we like to talk about little embedded things to help electrocute yourself, and this week is no exception.
Which may or may not involve some pie. Yes. So, well, this one will get you electrocuted. That's that's inevitable. Because this is this is the Smart Pi, and it's well, it's just an extension board add on to the Raspberry Pi that turns it into a smart energy meter.
Well, this is a whole kit, man.
Yeah, the whole kit. You get to see the very first picture on the top right of the article there. That's the kit that you get.
And
it's not
on page 2.
cheap.
I mean, yeah, right. I mean, you got a couple of things. You got like 4 inputs, voltage. Yeah, this thing's legit.
And they say that it supports up to 100 amps and 400 volts by default. But if you're feeling brave and 100 amps just ain't cutting it for you, you can push it up to 300 amps. At 400 volts, pretty sure you're just going to catch fire by looking at it wrong. But yeah, it's if you want to have, well, what would a Raspberry Pi add to an energy reader that you don't already get from regular old energy readers?
Wi-Fi, the ability to monitor it remotely, multiple inputs. Because, at 100...
less chances of getting electrocuted. Okay.
Oh, you wanted me to stop. I was going to keep going because that was such a silly question. 185 wet stinky caches for the kit, and there's a lot of kit to it. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of pricey, but we've covered something kind of a more homebrew version of this a couple of months back. We did. This, clip it on, hook it up, set it up. This is for like Maker Lite. You're going to have to SSH into this critter, which most anyone listening to the show is like, all right. You're going to be able to do it. You'll be able to get it set up and monitor the things. I was looking at his chain here. He's like water heater off, and he's monitoring how many kilowatt hours he's doing. Dishwasher. I'm fine with that. Freezer. I'm like, man. Then it gets to the wine cooler. I'm like, really? All right. I thought I had a little McMansion. I don't have a wine cooler. Then the toaster. Then the washing machine. I want to know what type of washing machine he has, because that looks like my dryer, and my dryer is older than I am. It runs off of raw power and spite, and it does not pull that kind of load.
Yeah, I mean, old washing machines pushed up to, 1,500 watts on the economic program?
I don't know. Most washing machines are 120, so I don't know, man. Maybe he's got a Beowulf cluster of washing machines.
I don't know.
Well,
let's get into the teeny tiny bit of, I guess this would be, or could be, considered the gaming bit of the week. Although it's not just for gaming.
This is build a killer Amiga emulator for 100 wet stinky caches. All right. You put a Raspberry Pi 3 in a custom case from Etsy and installed Ambien on it. I got it. I just saved you like 1, 2, 3, 4 pages.
Amibian, but yes. He actually has some recommendations for the hardware you should get, and he has some questionable recommendations for software that you'll need to use to, say, extract the Amibian ISO. to then use Win32 disk imager to write it to the SD card. Now, he actively recommends that you use WinRAR. WinRAR, really? With 7-zip being the actually free alternative on Windows, and supporting so many more formats. They're actively recommending WinRAR in 2017.
You know, in all fairness, I've aliased RAR and unRAR to RAWR.
RAR.
RAR.
But yeah, no, outside of that, this is, he basically just got a 3D printed retro Amiga case.
Low res looking case too. I mean,
yeah, very low res. He says that you can get them from 40 and up. If I'm guessing he spent the 40 and he got that really crusty looking one. But yeah, some of those cases actually do look nice, and it's a neat project. If you had someone in your family, say their birthday is coming up, and you have a Raspberry Pi laying around and you don't know what to do with it, set it up. If that person used an Amiga, it's like, there you go. It's like your old computer.
It does talk about
a neat thing.
Overclocking it, which don't.
You're just trying to emulate an Amiga. Just stop.
It's
okay?
a Pi
Just stop.
3. It's what, minimum like 7 times more compute power than like an Amiga 4K, which
The Pi 0, yes. The Pi 3 is that times 8.
So yeah, listen. Overclock it though. I mean, overclock it for other reasons. Still don't ever use this as an excuse though. I wholly support overclocking and melting things. That's hobby.
That's just fun.
Right.
Unless you have, like me, you have a smoke detector up there.
You know, as somebody who has a rental property, my first thought was like, take the battery. I was like, shut up, Ben. So yeah, don't. Leave them in because homeowners, rental insurance and all that, the premiums go up after that. Hey, man, this has been a fun show, Pedro, but before we go, we probably want to check and see if anybody left us a bit of feedback, maybe.
Yes, indeed. And if you, too, would like to leave some feedback, you thought that we said something that was a lie, it was inaccurate, it was absolute pish-posh, you can let us know by going to linuxgamecast.com. You hit the contact button, make sure to pick LWDW from the little drop-downy thing. That's it. Fill out the rest of the form. It's pretty easy. Even the captcha is not all that hard, unless you're a robot. Well, if you are, you can also leave us just, you'll have to be really clever to get past that captcha.
You know who's really clever most of the time? It's really sad, too. Are people trying to sell us marketing services to increase
yeah.
Oh, yeah. We get those. Then some other company was trying to get us to pay $99 a month. It's like, your website has issues and we have to fix it for you. And I haven't blown you up on Twitter yet, but do it again.
Oh, there are a few of those. I probably don't get as many as you do, but I get a few.
It's a thing. Okay, coming up first, Shane writes, oh man, about the OBS, Open Broadcaster Studio, which caused us to be 15 minutes late. Today, he's like, hey man, it's great to see the in-game mayor. Hang on. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a full reboard of that L2 cache. It's great to see tutorials on Linux for software such as OBS. Can you please do a video showing how to compile software such as OBS from SAWS? Please, I've been trying to do it as I need to modify it for Nginx or Nginx or whatever.
Nginx.
That's what Pedro calls it. Along with RTMP to work natively like on Windows. That was a YouTube comment that made it in. So I wrote back, but I just want to let everyone else know. Check the description. There's a link for Lutris and Linux Gamecast had sex, and we had a babby, and that babby was a script that will compile OBS within VN code. And he's like, but I don't run a Debian-based system. If you're smart enough to be looking for a script, you can reverse engineer the script.
It's just a matter of
you know how to build software, right? You're just looking for which flags you need to throw it. That's basically
just
where you're at.
replace the apt APTs or APT gets, what have you, with yums, and you're probably going to have to find the equivalent of whatever for those development packages, or just comment out that entire bit, and then just have the makes and the git clones and everything else without the APTs. That should get you started. That said, I am kind of curious. What exactly are you trying to do with OBS, with Nginx and RTMP?
Anger leads to.
I mean, I can sort of try and see that you're trying to set up like a streaming server. How?
Exactly. Strider points out, people don't want to adapt the script for other distros because he's not had any pull requests. Lazy is the word you're looking for.
Lazy, yeah.
But then again, I mean, if you're on a Debian-based system or anything, I need to see lazy. I'm guilty of that because for the better part of 7 months now, I'm like, okay, I'm going to move it over. I did, figured out all the dependencies for NV encode and I'll put all that together. Easy enough to make one for Fedora. I just haven't done it because lazy. I admit it. It's all my fault. Okay.
You don't really need it on Fedora, too.
You don't really. What you need is something. Well, you don't really need it on Ubuntu on that PPA they have now with NV.
They have NVEnc enabled in the PPA?
Yep.
All right. I did not know that.
Where's your flying spaghetti monster now?
Well, let's just say I haven't been on the internet as much lately.
All right. Arthurian writes in, last but also last, for our amusement, not related to any news, just have fun reading this. And it's about the Arch Linux mirror question.
Yes. Yes, that is the domain name in the thread name right there. So Florian, one of the participants of the Arch Linux mailing list, says that he has received complaints about the domain name lolly.forsale used for your mirror. That's
I thought it was CIA loves to divide and conquer.er.
Oh, that's the one he suggests changing it to after the single most passive-aggressive, sarcastic comment I've probably ever seen outside of a Linus post.
Right.
He says, apparently not everybody shares your humor, and some people find the domain to be offensive. Consequently, this reflects badly on our image. Please switch the mirror to an alternative domain. I have removed the listings of the domain in question. I will add your mirror again once it uses an acceptable domain name. Really? Lolly.forsale is not acceptable for Arch Linux? Really?
Man, Linux and politics, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. I've been dealing with it for 20 years. I pulled Abe Simpson on this. I walked in, put my hat back on, walked right back out the door. And it's like, you kids have fun with that because you ultimately will end up accomplishing nothing and harming the project as a whole. Good luck on that.
Yeah, and Alucard, then he just like single most passive-aggressive rant I've ever read. And he actively suggests, would you keep a list of alternative domains not safe for work, but still mirrors for Arch? It's like genuine question. And one of the questions he does ask, which is I find very pertinent, is what does it take to remove all forms of free speech before it doesn't matter to anyone at all? So yeah, it's a little bit of a backhanded slap there, and then he just wraps it up with imagine if others were to host Arch, let's say on an open nick domain or an onion address. Would those get deemed not safe for work too? Maybe I'll register CIA loves to .divide and conc.er to make it more palatable. Sound good? A la carte.
I don't know, man. I mean, I realize that, we're getting along in advanced years because apparently I'm not up on my spicy memes because I don't know what I'm supposed to be offended about. I don't know what's really going on here, but somebody's offended. B, on top of that, I'm envious of whoever is offended because their life is going so swimmingly. So swimmingly.
They get to be offended about a lolly being
nothing else is wrong in their life. They are living such a dream right now that this is the one thing that they got to put the Eye of Sauron on and go, yeah, this is in the world right now. This needs the attention right here.
Yeah, and then one active maintainer of the mailing list decides to pull that from the mirror list. Just how thin is your skin?
Hey, man, you know, Fifi's going to Fifi. That's
Yeah.
It might be, it's a little bit confusing, I think, both Pedro and I, because we were kind of brought up in generation sticks and stones.
Basically.
Right. It's like, oh, somebody said something weird and offensive on the internet. I was like, and our first thought.
Shocking news, the guy reportedly still blue.
Yeah. And we're like, can you send me the link?
Yeah.
So, hey, man, that's a thing. And this has been another Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays. We always have a good time. We hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching the YouTube video of this audio podcast, we're doing somewhere between 500 and 800 downloads a week, which is not bad for something we've never advertised anywhere. But if you've listened this long, do us a favor and kind of share it around. The more, the merrier. And we'll see how many people new to Linux we can kind of get in and trick them, and we move them over to the gaming episode, and then next thing you know, they'll be running Arch 2. But if you want to talk to me, I'm at Vinstone on the Twitter net. Just type in Vinstone in Google. As Pedro knows, I show up.
Yeah, he does. He is the entire first page. On my case, if you type those into Google, I am my Twitter account is the second result now for some reason. I'm actually the first result in the Google image search. That's actually my picture. It's the LinkedIn picture.
The main picture for me when you search for Vinstone's Jordan Svang pointing.
Yeah. And it's at unaccounted for. That's FOUR on Twitter. It's also pretty easy to find. Scream at me there. I might scream back at you. Or on Google Plus. That's +. Google.com/+. Pretty easy.
Thanks again, beautiful party people, for supporting this, and we'll be back soon. But now, time for some credits.
Yeah.
Boom.
Look at all those lovely people who give us money. Look at them.
There's money to support the show. Well, I mean, hey man, we're lucky that people are like, all right, go spread some Linux.
Yeah. I use Arch. No, you don't even need to tell those people to go spread Linux. Like, what's your favorite color? I use Arch Linux, but I think my favorite color is like mauve.
You don't know what you're talking about. I've installed 6 Linux.
That one with the dude just using the last urinal, and then another dude comes to the urinal right next to him and says, I use Arch Linux.
You mean the one I made?
Yeah, that one.